Hey, hello, folks. A lot of people, they never take any initiative. And what's the reason for that? No one has ever asked them to do so. Well, it doesn't matter whether you are a student or you are a working professional. What matters is how concerned are you about your own self development. And when it comes to development of your own individual self, one of the most important factor that comes in between is something called initiative. It might be a small word, but indeed a very, very powerful one. Let's go deeper into what is it and how it can really serve you in fulfilling your goals and purposes of life. So what is initiative? So as you can see on my mind map, initiative, to start with, what is very important is when an individual does or takes charge of a situation without having been asked to do so. You can see and visualize for your own self. If you're a student, how many students actually come forward and take participation in a variety of initiatives without they being nudged all the time? Same thing happens in workplace also. Having worked over many, many years, I can tell you, there will always be, only a few people. And that's where the Pareto principle, which is 80-20, typically comes into play. Only 20% of the people will end up taking 80% of the initiatives. So doing the right things without being told. The ability to see something that needs to be done. It is these individuals who create a difference for themselves. When they actually see that, yes, there's a loophole here, let me plug this loophole. And what they end up doing, they end up taking a step forward in that direction. So stepping up and taking charge makes and brings a lot of difference, not only to the lives of others around them, but also to their own individual life. Because what really happens is, in the process, they get to learn a lot of things. They develop themselves in so many different ways. Initiative is beautifully defined as the ability to assess and initiate things at an independent level. Now you can see I have kind of tried to put together different aspects just to make things very, very simple for you. So it is about taking advantage of different opportunities. Now let me give you some examples. So what are the different opportunities? Say, for example, if you're a student, there can be opportunities connected to, say, social work, or there can be opportunities to contribute in the development of the class. Now that everything is happening online, in what ways can you assist in making your own education better? Are you taking initiative to probably learn some new skills? Are you taking initiative to contribute to the development of others? Are you taking initiative to contribute in your society? There's so many different ways and means by virtue of which one could really develop himself or herself. It is actually a stepping stone and going beyond your typical duties, which is, whatever has been told to do. If you're doing only that, you're only as good as that. But when you take a step forward and when you start to think your own self, what happens is you are activating both your left brain as well as right brain. And why am I really saying that? It is because the left brain starts to think analytically, saying, okay, what are the steps that I need to take, and right brain start to think creatively, saying, okay, what is the kind of step that I should take which will bring the right degree of results and stuff like that. And another very important point is, people who take initiative, they generally start to challenge themselves to come out of their own comfort zone. And it is these people who are always rewarded also for coming out of their comfort zone. You can see that in any given situation. They start to think out of the box. They prepare for, different set of challenges. See, every time that there's a crisis, folks, what happens is the crisis generally brings a lot of opportunities. So it is this mindset to take and, absorb newer initiatives that one prepares himself or herself for those bigger challenges, right? So with this, let me move to the next point, which is how it typically starts. What's the initiating point of initiative? Initiative starts with letter I. And I actually for me is individual, which is I, me, myself. So a lot of times when we say, hey, you are responsible for what you're doing, to your own individual self, when you start to talk yourself, how do you really relate to that? You say that, am I taking initiative? So you start to look at some of those things. It's a crucial step. And it is a crucial step to what? It is a crucial step to development, both on the professional side as well as on the personal side. So personally, in your personal life, for your family, what are the kind of initiatives that you're taking to support your family? Professionally, what is it that you're doing at the workplace? If you're an entrepreneur, you are working with some organization, how do you really grow the ladder within the organization? Only and only when you start taking these things without being told to do so. And if a person doesn't do that, what happens? If you don't do that, then you are largely driven by other people. Other people tell you, saying, okay, this is what you need to do, and you end up doing that, which a lot of times may not be a very happy feeling for people who really want to grow faster. And what happens when one takes initiative is, you start to grab those opportunities, and you don't let excuses to come and probably, get into your life saying, okay, I couldn't do this because of this reason, I couldn't do this because of this reason, because you have a solid reason to say, no, at least I've taken the initiative. The fact that you've taken one, what really happens in the process is, at least you have learned in the process. It doesn't matter what has been the outcome, but you have learned through the process, and that's something which adds a lot of value to you. Another important point is, why am I taking initiative? The reason I should take initiative, and it doesn't matter who am I, the reason I'm taking initiative, maybe as a student, as a professional, is because I want to be a lot more innovative in my work. I want to completely, on a continuous basis, I want to use my creative juices. I want to add a lot of value to myself and to people around me, to the system around me, and that becomes an important focus point for me. The other important point that I would like to highlight to you is the story of initiative to impact. Now, let me tell you a short story here. As a student, when you start to take initiative, what happens? For example, someone who comes from a vernacular language, वो खाली अपनी local language जानता है. Suppose if it's Hindi, so it's Hindi. If it's Bengali, it's Bengali. If it's Marathi, it's Marathi. And this individual really wants to learn and improve his or her own English. Now the individual starts to participate and take initiatives more and more. तो क्या होगा? In the initial days, people might make a lot of fun, saying, this guy doesn't speak proper English. Look at the way he or she uses the words, and all of those things will happen. However, over a period of time, when the individual is practicing these things on a continuous basis, he or she is developing herself and himself in varied ways. And it's the same set of people will start to appreciate that individual. So that's the entire story of initiative to impact. And it happens both for a working professional or an entrepreneur, as well as, for a student. For a working professional, when one takes more and more initiative in the workplace, one is more noticed. A lot more projects come to such individuals saying, okay, this guy is doing on his own. Okay, let me just give him more project. This girl is doing a lot of initiatives on her own. Okay, I never asked her to generate this report. She did that on her own. Awesome. Let her reward with this particular stuff as well, right? So that's what happens when it comes to initiative to impact. Let me move to an important point, saying what happens when we look at, say, smaller organizations to bigger organizations. See, in smaller organizations, you are a lot more noticed. You're very clearly visible, saying, okay, because the size of the organization is small, everyone, what an individual is doing is clearly visible. In a bigger organization, a lot of times, your initiative may not get noticed, or, you can always piggyback on other people, although it's a clear-cut loss to you. So in an ideal scenario, what should happen is, one should always take initiative, be it smaller organization or bigger organization. The scale and size of initiative changes completely. In a bigger organization, when you take initiative, you can spearhead the entire project. That project might be happening at a local level, at a regional level, or even at a country level, depending upon your ability to take that complete ownership or drive that project or whatever may be the assignment. In a smaller organization, you get to shoulder higher responsibilities when you take initiative. Other important point is, whom does it really benefit? Who does it really benefit? When you take initiative, I always say that the biggest winner by taking initiative is you yourself. It reflects you in a positive light to a lot of other people. It helps you to build your own self-esteem. Now, what is self-esteem? How do you really feel for yourself? In fact, there's another video which is already there on my YouTube platform. You can check that video out with respect to self-esteem. What is the kind of feeling that you have for your own self, saying you are powerful, you can do things, you can take initiative, you can take ownership, you can take self-responsibility. Those are the kind of feelings that typically comes through self-esteem. And then it sets a solid foundation for what's really going to unveil for you for your promising future. So that's the power of initiative. And just to summarize, folks, I think what's very important when it comes to initiative is, you should be very clear what you want, and, believe on whatever is your wish list and make it happen. And the way you make it happen is by taking those small baby steps, and every step that you take actually comes under the category and purview of initiative. I hope this short video must have added some value to you with respect to initiative. Stay blessed, stay healthy. Cheers. God bless, and bye-bye.